Good morning, it's Lippy with Gemini Homestead. I've got another easy cookie recipe. We're going to have spiced cookies. This is perfect for the fall and leaning into the Christmas holidays. And if you're new to the channel, I've done a series. So far I believe I've done 3 or 4 cookie recipes using cake mix. And the story behind the cake mix is a few months ago they were closing them out. They were going to expire in April and May of 2020. 50 cents a box. So I stacked up. So all I've done at this point, now I've preheated the oven to 350. I've just dumped a box of cake mix into my mixing bowl. But this is where we're going to make it our own. To this, I've got a half a cup of canola oil and 2 beaten eggs. That's all I've got. And I've made a well, meaning I've separated some in the bowl. I've made a well. I'm just going to dump this in the middle of the well. This is such an easy go-to snack, really all year round. I do a lemon drop and it is delicious. Now, I've got a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now this is pure vanilla extract. If you use the imitation, I would almost go 1.5 teaspoons. This is just a teaspoon. Now to this plate, it is a pinch, which a pinch is 1/8 of a teaspoon. I've got nutmeg, ginger, and cinnamon. That's optional, but it just, it really takes on a true spice flavor. So that's called a pinch, but it's 1/8 of a teaspoon. Cinnamon, nutmeg, and ginger going in. And that's all I've done. I'm going to fold this together, get it good and incorporated, and we're going to set it in the refrigerator 15 to 20 minutes. And that's when we're going to take it out, form our balls, and bake them. But I also am going to mix up an icing. You know, because you think of spice, you think of a gingerbread snap cookie, you got to have a little icing. So I'm going to get this incorporated. I'm not using a blender, I'm just, using a spatula. And I'm going to put it in the refrigerator 15 to 20 minutes, and then we'll come back and get these rolled up, and while they are baking, we'll make us a quick icing. Okay, it's been 20 minutes, and it's set up pretty good. Now this is going to be a soft cookie dough. Now I'm just using a regular kitchen tablespoon. And I'm rolling the balls about the size of a golf ball. And I'm doing that because we want a little bit larger cookie. This being a spice cookie, it just works well, especially with some coffee or some cinnamon tea. That would be wonderful. So I've got another pan sitting over here ready. So I'm just going to put 2. I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but you'll see as I back up to this way. I'm only going to put 2 to each end. That way I know when they do spread out, they've got plenty of room. Now, because of the size cookie I'm making, you're going to get probably about 12.5. You won't get 2 dozen. But that's okay. I want a larger cookie, like the old-timey ginger snap. Oh, the smell is unreal. Now the icing is also going to be optional, but the icing is very easy. And then of course with the icing you can either drizzle it, you can dip it, but there we go. I'm going to set these in the oven. I'll get the other tray ready to go, and then when we come back I'll pull them out of the oven, and then we'll start with the icing. Okay, the cookies are in the oven baking. I've got both cookie sheets. I meant to tell you, 10 to 12 minutes. What you're looking for is the bottoms to firm up. So I'd start checking about 10 minutes and see where your oven is. But in the meantime, I had mixed up my icing. Now this is a very, very easy icing. I've got it in a Ziploc bag. I started off with a bowl, and I did 2 cups of confectionery sugar, powdered sugar. 2 teaspoons of lemon juice and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And I mixed it well, and it's going to be very crumbly, like wet sugar. And that's when I started coming in with my cold water. I started off with 4 tablespoons of water, and I went from there to get it to the consistency that I like. Now, if you had too much water, just simply come in and add a little bit more powdered sugar, a tablespoon at a time, to get to the consistency of the icing that you're looking for. Now, of course, you would want a little bit thicker if you were going to be taking the cookie upside down and actually icing the whole thing. Or you can take a fork, and the tines of the fork dip into the icing and just lightly shake across the cookies. Today, I'm going to treat this Ziploc bag as a piping bag. And I'm just going to cut the tip off very small, and that's how I'm going to ice it. But what I did was when I mixed it in the bowl, I simply had set me a Ziploc bag down in this cup, folded it over, and then poured my icing in. And that way I didn't have a mess. But I wanted to share this with y'all. This is the next step once the cookies come out. But I'm going to check my cookies 10 to 12 minutes. And I'm looking for them just to be a little golden on the bottom. And that's spice cookies. In what, minute? 10, 15 minutes? It's a great treat, y'all. Cookies came out 12 minutes. But you know, each oven's going to vary. Now, while they're still warm, I let them sit about 5 minutes before I put the icing on them. Then I'm just going in and I'm just piping little zigzags. I'm not overworking it. I'm a simple kind of baker. But as you see, I put them on a cooling rack. But under the cooling rack, I've got saran wrap because I'm subject to make a mess. Plus, it's going to drip some. And I just didn't want the cleanup. Now, you could actually use a regular piping bag. I didn't mind using the Ziploc bag because it's disposable. And like I said, if you wanted to, you could make your icing a lot thicker and you could just ice in the whole top of the cookie. But I'm just going in with little swirls and zigzags. That's all I'm doing. Just to give it a little bit of a sweetness on top. If y'all could smell this house right now, the aroma is amazing. But I've got 12 cookies in the oven going, so we're going to end up with 2 dozen. When I get through icing them, I'll bring you back. We'll get me a cup of hot tea, and we're going to break open one of these cookies. They are delicious, y'all. Well, y'all, we got 2 dozen out of that. Got something to drink here, some hot tea. I told you I was going to treat myself to a cookie. But I wanted to recap this recipe. I started off with just a box of standard spice cake mix. Put it in a bowl, made a well. I mixed a half a cup of canola oil, 2 beaten eggs in the center. And to ramp up the flavor, I added a teaspoon of vanilla and 1/8 of a teaspoon, also known as a pinch, of ginger, nutmeg, and cinnamon. That is completely optional. I just wanted to bring those spice flavors up. Mixed it up, put it in the fridge for 20 minutes to set up, and I baked them. Now, one batch was 12 minutes. This last batch was 10. So 10 to 12 minutes in the oven. Pulled them out, put them on a cookie rack, let them sit just a few minutes, not long, maybe if you're timing it, 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. And then I simply mixed up a simple icing, which was 2 cups of powdered sugar, known as confectionery sugar, 2 teaspoons of lemon juice, and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Once I incorporated that, it made it look like a just wet sugar, granules of wet sugar. And I started off with 4 tablespoons of cold water to get it to the consistency, the icing consistency that I was looking for. I was looking for something on more of the thinner side. Now, you could drop down to about 3 tablespoons of water, see where that gets you if you're wanting more of a thick icing to where you could take your cookie and just dump it upside down so you had an even layer. Now, this last batch, I put the icing on, and it made a funny spread. It almost spread. But I wanted to show y'all how tender this is. Let's see, there's the bottom. You see that? This is the best cookie. It's so easy. And if I can get up to the camera for y'all to be able to see. Do you see that? It's almost like a cake consistency, but the top and the bottom is like a cookie. I'm telling you, if you find cake mixes on sale, clearanced, stock up on them. It's just an easy way to throw some cookies on the table for your kids, or big kids like me. That's fall, y'all. That is fall in one cookie. Now it's rich, and it's almost decadent. Now, to this, which I opted not to do it because of my husband, you can put pecans. Just cut up some pecans. You could even add some dried cranberries. That would kind of give it more of a spice to a tart. It's a very good combination. There's just so much you can do with this cookie. If you like coconut, add just a little bit of coconut. The options are really, they're unlimited. But I'm going to enjoy this cookie. I'm going to reflect back on the year. I do that in the afternoons, of what I can do to improve next year. It's a reflection. And you got to have a good cookie to do that. But until next time, guys, God bless and Merry Christmas.